this. Mommy, serious.
Keep doodle. Nope. Hi, everyone. We're going to get started in 3 minutes.
I'm unmuting myself. Oh yeah, gallery view.
My mom just touched her.
So.
Hi, Mommy.
Hey y'all, when you got into the meeting, you were muted. Let's just try to keep ourselves muted until we open it up for questions, just so that the sound comes through clearly for everybody.
Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started just because we only have a limited amount of time together and I want to make sure we have the chance to utilize it to its fullest extent. I'm Megan Ray Chowdhury. I'm the head of school at Homer Plessy Community School, and I'm really excited to see so many of you virtually right now, and all of the kindergarten families we had the opportunity to see this morning and this afternoon. It was really great to see and meet a lot of you. Tonight, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Kenya to talk about what virtual learning is going to look like as we kick off the 2020-2021 school year. And I want to thank you guys for submitting the questions via our survey. In reviewing the questions, we're going to answer the questions as it relates to virtual learning. There were some questions we got about what in-person learning might look like, just because of the time crunch and the fact that we want to make sure everybody has the most current information around distance learning. We have put those questions to the side, and should a time come where school reopens in person, we will host another one of these to address those questions at that time. So I just want to thank you all so much for being here, and I'd like to introduce Miss Kenya Hill. She is our principal of the elementary school in the French Quarter, serving grades kindergarten through 4th grade. Kenya?
Good afternoon, Plessy families. It's a shame that we have to meet virtually, but I'm happy to see everyone's faces, and hopefully we'll be able to invite you back in person very soon. I'm going to briefly go over the things that we'll be discussing today. And if I forget anything or do not answer any of your questions, Megan's going to be putting my number and Amy's number, who is the assistant principal and serves grades K through 4, pre-K through 2, so that you can reach out to us directly for any questions that you may have. Today during our time, we'll be talking about scheduling of virtual learning, technology, testing, live classes, Google Classroom, assignment submission, office hours for teachers, SPED accommodations and talented, grading, AI PBL, specials, and SPED. And those buckets were taken from the questions that were submitted, so I can make sure that I am addressing all of your questions. First, one, thank you for your flexibility. I know that there have been a couple of emails that have gone out regarding scheduling, but we are happy to say that we are in our final iteration of that scheduling. That being said, K through 2 has classes 4 days a week with no classes on Wednesday. This allows for you to reach out to teachers as well as for any talented or gifted and sped minutes to be scheduled as well. And I'll allow Adam to touch on that later on in our time together. Grades 3 and 4 have classes 3 days a week, and they're either an A week or a B week. And the reason why this is for 3rd and 4th grade is because we had to add in science and social studies for 3rd and 4th grade as a definitive block to make sure that they're on pace for learning with regards to the content that they need for the year. In regards to technology and accessing the classes, a Chromebook will work for access as well as a tablet or any other smart device. All classes will be on the Google Classroom platform, and students can access those pages from our main Plessy page, and then can access their cohort or classroom page with assignments on there as well. When you come to pick up your student materials, you will receive your child's schedule for our virtual learning time, as well as the parent letter, which explains how you can access your child's email and Google Classroom for learning purposes. Testing. Teachers will be reaching out to parents to schedule virtual or in-person testing, depending on your level of comfort. For ELA, it will be a reading test, similar to what they have done in the past if they're returning students for Plessy. And then for grades 3 and 4, there's also an ANET diagnostic, which is an abbreviated version of the ANET testing that they normally take at school. And that is on the computer as well. For live classes, there were some questions that came through in regards to the availability of having to participate in live classes. And as a leadership team, we understand that students and families have varying schedules and can't oftentimes make the live classes. To that end, all classes will be uploaded to your child's Google Classroom page so that if they miss a live session, they can go back and watch it. And their absence from a live session will not count against them. However, they will still be responsible for the assignments and those deadlines that are associated with those assignments. And if your child has multiple teachers, the deadline for the assignments will be the same across the grade level. So if they're due 2 days from when the assignment was given by midnight, it'll be the same across the grade level if your child has different teachers. Assignment submission. There will be assignments that are created by your teachers. And the teachers may ask you, because we're giving out student workbooks, to either take a picture of the work that you're doing and upload that to the assignment, or there'll be a Google Doc that students will have to fill out and turn back in. And it's fairly simple. You'll be able to click on the link, either submit the assignment or upload the assignment, and then the teacher will be able to give you feedback through Google Classroom as well. Every teacher has office hours, and the office hours are so that you as parents, if you have questions about assignments, you can reach out to teachers during that time. If teachers need to have a one-on-one session to give a student a little more extra help because they're having trouble with accessing some of the material, or if you just have like a general question or concern, the office hours are the time where you would do that. And teachers will have a system through which you can reserve a time to chat with them so that you aren't conflicting or competing with another parent who's trying to reach out at that time. Grading. So we will still use the same scale as we have used before. And for those who are new to Plessy, we use standards-based grading. And standards-based grading is aligned to our mission and vision around AI PBL because it allows us to show mastery of the standards, and it also allows us to meet the child where they are with regards to their ability to understand a standard, and it tells us what we need to do to make sure that that student is on track for learning. And so to that end, the 4 is above grade level, a 3 is meeting grade level standards, a 2 is approaching grade level standards, and a 1 is below grade level standards. There was a question around AI PBL and whether or not that would be included in our virtual learning, and the answer is yes. Ms. Brooke and the arts team has put together wonderful arts kits that will go home with every student, that has art supplies in there and a smock for painting. And she will be sending an email later on this week with regards to the contents of the art kit and how students can use that at home. In addition, even though we are virtual, teachers are required to do 1 AI PBL project per quarter. And so the way that that will look will vary depending on the teacher and the content around the learning. Specials. Specials will also occur during our virtual learning time, and that is indicated on the schedule. The specials team also realizes that there's a lot of screen time with regards to our academic blocks, and so they want to make sure that they are touching on all the needs of students with regards to an outlet, being able to connect with students, as well as supporting on the social-emotional support side. To that end, there will be 2 live classes a week that specials teams will be recording and uploading. And then the remainder of the classes during the week will be a time where students can join. There'll be a social emotional support aspect of it, but we really want students to have an outlet outside of just connecting with students during an academic block. In addition to that, students will still receive SPED, talented, and gifted minutes. And I'm gonna pause here and allow Adam to jump in so he can talk a little bit about that.
Hey everyone, it's great to see so many faces. We are, even though it is, under the best of circumstances, we're very excited for the school year to start, as I'm sure you all are as well. Any student that receives a, special education services through an IEP, be that services such as speech or talented or gifted or any service minutes, depending on exceptionality, students will still receive those services. At the beginning of this school year, we will be meeting with and talking to all parents of students or all families of students that have an IEP. That includes talented and gifted as well. The service minutes will look a little different because it won't be in person, but we will be still holding small group pull-out groups online and one-on-one, whatever is deemed necessary according to the IEP team. And you as a parent are definitely a big member of the IEP team. So that is how that will look virtually. They will still occur in a similar way to they did when we were in school physically, but virtually now it'll be pull-out groups and one-on-one groups online.
Thank you, Adam. I'm gonna now go into some more nuanced questions that parents submitted. And so I will read them verbatim and kind of chunk them into categories. First, with technology, will Wi-Fi be provided for kids that have laptops but not Wi-Fi at home? Will we be getting a Chromebook per child? We do not have computers to do online school for 2 kids. As of right now, we have a limited number of Chromebooks and hotspots. And so we are giving out what we can based on family need. And then Kristen has created a waiting list because we are anticipating more Chromebooks coming that are coming from the district, but they have not arrived yet. So the goal is to give every student what they need to be successful at home during our time for virtual learning. We just don't have enough for everybody yet. And so if you have a need for technology, please reach out directly to Kristen so that she can do her best to accommodate what you need and or let you know what next steps will be. Furthermore, if you have more than one child at Plessy at this time so that we can make sure that students get what they need, we'll only be giving out, if available, one Chromebook per household. And then once every family has what they need, then we'll reevaluate that for families with multiple students. Can we get the majority of work as workbooks and submit assignments that way? That would be much easier for us. The answer is yes. When you come and pick up your student materials, every student will get their Wit and Wisdom, which is the ELA curriculum workbook, their Eureka workbooks, the reading books that you will need for ELA, as well as any math manipulatives that you will need for your time while you're virtual until your child gets to another module or unit. And so to that end, if there is a page that the teacher assigns, you can do the work in the workbook and then upload that to the assignment and turn in. It'll just be simply you taking a picture of the page and then uploading it like you would normally upload a picture to the assignment link. Is there a way to connect families so that a family who is able to assist with childcare and distance learning can be matched with a family who is unable to be present with their students or needs a childcare and or distance learning assistance? At this time, we don't have a portal or a chat to facilitate that. However, I have seen many parents are connecting via our Facebook pages. So please feel free to connect to families connect to families on Facebook if you would like to coordinate on that on your own, but Plessy at this time is currently not coordinating anything like that. This question is around live classes. Is attendance required at the time that classes are scheduled, or is it possible to watch recorded lessons at a more convenient time for our family? Does work need to be completed during the allotted class time? The answer is no. All teachers will have clear deadlines on the Google Classroom page for assignment submission. And if you're unable to make a live class, once again, it's okay, because all classes will be uploaded to the Google Classroom page for your child so that you can watch them at a time that is convenient to you. How much time should students expect to devote to live virtual learning? This is a difficult question to answer because we realize that this involves a lot of screen time, and a lot of screen time is not always the best way to keep a child engaged. Child seem to disengage after a certain time, and we want to make sure that students are getting exactly what they need. And so to that end, I would say, please prioritize what you think is best for your child. Once again, students will be accountable for the lessons that the assignments that they have to turn in, but we will not be marking them for any classes that are live that they will not be able to participate in. I realize the pandemic has made schooling very complicated, but I know Plessy has some very creative and dedicated teachers. Could you give specific examples of how teachers are planning to stay true to the vision of project-based arts integrated learning through the virtual learning platform? As I said before, Ms. Brooke is sending home a bag which has an art kit in there, and we'll be sending out an email later in the week to talk about how students can navigate through that. But teachers are very excited to dive into learning and are really wanting to create new and engaging ways to keep students interested in virtual learning, which includes some project-based activities and some outside platforms that students will be able to use to interact with each other as we're navigating through this. How many days per week will the child be required to actually complete and submit assignments? And so this depends on where the child is with regards to the lessons that the teachers are teaching. Ideally, there will be a lesson and then there'll be some time towards the end of that live class for some practice to take place, so that if there are any lingering questions before the student gets off of the call, they're able to have that addressed by the teacher. In addition to that, I would anticipate that there'll be an exit ticket or a worksheet page for the lessons that, or writing, or some way that students will be able to engage in the lesson each time that the teacher teaches a lesson, due to the nature of the limited times that we're meeting per week. The next question says, how many subjects will children do per semester? And so we actually operate on the quarter system. And when you see your schedule for grades K through 2, you'll see that there are blocks allotted for ELA, math, and foundations, which is our foundational skills and phonics program. You'll also see that on the 3rd and 4th grade schedule, there's ELA, math, science, and social studies. Will lower grade students go to 5 days a week online after the initial few weeks? No. K through 2 will remain 4 days a week while we are in our virtual stage, and grades 3 and 4 will remain at 3 days a week while we are virtual. The schedule will not change so that parents can continue to plan accordingly, no matter where we're at with our virtual learning. Are the designated cohorts in the homeroom, are the designated cohorts the homerooms for the year, or will homerooms look different once if classes are in person? So for K through 2, those homerooms will stay. So whatever homeroom teacher that your child is assigned to will be the same homeroom teacher that your child would have when we're able to invite students back into school. However, in grades 3 through 4, there are 8 cohorts because there are 4 sections in each grade level except for 4th grade. The smaller cohorts will have different teachers. However, when your child comes back to school, he or she will still interact with those teachers. However, they will be assigned to one homeroom teacher. There was also a question around whether or not students can be shifted around if there are parents who are wanting to do pods or schedule learning around the distance learning so that kids are in the same class. And at this time, the rosters have been completed, and so there aren't any changes that we anticipate being able to make, because teachers are already reaching out to families, introducing themselves, and beginning to plan for learning for those students. Those were the questions that were submitted for both campuses and specifically for elementary. And if I did not answer your question, it's because it was the same as another parent, and so I wanted to make sure I consolidated those for time's sake. Were there any questions that were not answered that you wanted to ask at this time? I know there's a lot of people on this call, but we have a little bit of time to answer some of those questions as well.
So if you have a question, we ask you indicate it in the chat, and then we can call on everybody to ensure there's kind of a smooth sailing on the questions. So if you have a question, please indicate it in the chat.
Okay, Miss Roberta said she has a question. Go ahead, please.
No idea. My name is actually Kimberly. Adia's No, it's okay. That's my wife's name.
Okay.
Um, when do we get to actually meet the teacher that's going to be teaching our child?
Yes, good question. So all teachers will be reaching out via phone to schedule the testing, and so you'll be able to meet them via phone fairly soon. In addition, all teachers are required to upload a welcome video, and those will be published by the end of the week, so you can log on and see their faces. If you need more, if you would like to have a more in-depth conversation with them, you can schedule a time during their office hours to have a one-on-one with them so you can get to know them a little bit better.
Okay, yeah, because my child has 2 different homes. So,
okay.
yeah.
Yes, so that would definitely be a situation where most teachers will have a system such as Calendly, so you can just click on that link and schedule a time to meet with them during their office hours when it's convenient to you, so that you can talk about any individual situations that you may have.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Ms. Stewart asked, how are you prioritizing the distribution of electronics? And so to that end, I would say reach out to Kristen, because she has a system and can further explain that to you. And I don't want to misrepresent the system that she already has in place for that. And so please reach out directly to Kristen so that we can make sure that we're getting students what they need. Valerie asked, is there going to be LEAP testing this year? And are kids going to be able to pass the next grade if they fall behind due to the circumstances? As it stands right now, we haven't had any indication from the governor that LEAP testing is canceled for this year. And so until we hear otherwise, we are planning to move forward as if we were going to be LEAP testing at the end of the year. In addition to that, teachers have been asked to make sure that they are closely monitoring the progress that their students are making while we are virtual, so that if there is a student that is falling behind or not understanding the content, that we can make sure that we get ahead of that before a student slips through the cracks. Someone asked, should we anticipate needing to be by our child's side during virtual classes, and how much time should we anticipate working with them on homework or other work? So, the first week of virtual classes, teachers will walk students through how they can navigate the system. I would say for students that are in like kinder and first grade, the first couple of times you may need to help them navigate, but they should become fairly astute to how to navigate through the system and be able to log on their own. I would suggest writing down their email address and password inside of their notebook or on a piece of paper, so they can get used to entering it in on their own after the first couple of times. In addition to that, I would suggest doing the work like in moderation. For example, if there is an assignment that's due on Wednesday and you get it on Monday, do a little bit on Monday and do a little bit on Tuesday. Don't overwhelm them. It's already hard because of virtual learning. And so I would say make sure to adhere to the deadlines, but also be in tune to like what your child needs and how they matriculate through it, so that you can make sure that as a parent, you're doing what's right for your child. And I would not suggest like spending like an hour a day like on work after them being on Zoom calls, or excuse me, Google Classroom all day. That's just, I just think that's a lot for a child. So I definitely would say, please make sure that you're doing what's best for your child and moderating and stretching out the work so that you can make sure that you get it in by the deadline. Let me scroll back up. There was a parent that said that they had a question. I'm gonna butcher this name. Schiller, did I say that right? SCHLA.
We did say that correctly.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Hi, my question is, when is the first day they're actually going to have to log in for school?
Yes. So the first day of classes is August 17th. The Google Classroom websites will be published by Friday with welcome videos and links so that if you wanted to practice logging on over the weekend, you're able to do so that you're ready for Monday.
Okay. And do they require any type of shirt or something that they have to wear?
No, there's no uniform requirement whether students are virtual or at Plessy. We do have Plessy shirts that are available for purchase, but they are not required for students. We just ask that they're in a comfortable space so that they can be fully engaged into the learning. Did that answer your question? Okay, all right, perfect. Megan asked, if we aren't clear on which students will be given laptops, when will we know if our student will be provided one? If we need to order one, it may take some time to come in. Yes. So I would say if you're planning to come in this week, when you come in, well, you won't come in, but when you drive up, there'll be a staff member there to greet you, ask you your child's name, and then if you need technology, you'll indicate it to that staff member at that time, who then will go in and connect with Kristen. And then if there's technology available to be given out at that time, you'll receive it at that time. If not, then you'll be put on the wait list. If you are coming in on a Friday, this Friday of this week, but you kind of need to know now, my suggestion would be to email Kristen, and Megan has put Kristen's email address in the chat. Karen, how do we know who our teacher is? Didn't see that when I picked it up today. If you didn't get a schedule in your bag, I apologize about that. Please send myself and Amy an email, and actually I'll write your name down so I can connect with you with who your teacher is. I apologize about that. For children who have a parent that can the work be completed when we are home? Yes. The work can be completed when you are home. You can watch the videos at your leisure. Maybe they'll have night school or evening school if you're at work during the day. But yes, you can definitely watch the videos when you are able to. So it says, do K have Zoom accounts? I keep saying Zoom, but that's just because we're on Zoom. But actually, we're using the Google platform. And so every child has an email address. It will default to firstname.lastname@plessyschool.org. And then the password is defaulted to Plessy123, which is on the parent letter that you will receive when you pick up your student materials. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Ms. Stewart asked about in regards to, she got the Chromebooks, but in need of a hotspot. And so, yes, there are a very limited number of hotspots. And so I believe for hotspots right now, Kristen is doing a waiting list for hotspots until we get more in so that we can distribute them all at one time. All right. The login information will be on the parent letter that you receive. And then on that parent letter also indicates how you can access your child's Google Classroom page. All right. Can I pick up for both of my students at the same time? Yes. We ask that you default to the higher grade level simply because we are preparing grade levels by day. So if you have a child in kindergarten and one in 4th grade, we ask that you come on the 4th grade day so you can get all the materials at one time. However, if you have extenuating circumstances, please send myself or Amy an email and we can make sure that your materials are ready for you if you need to come on an earlier day. Okay. We looked at the website. Do we need to order school supplies in addition to what we are receiving? For virtual, no. We will give you everything that you will need to be successful while we are virtual. The only thing that you may need that we have not provided for some of the lower grades is loose leaf paper for writing and practicing and drawing. But any type of math tools that you may need, reading books, workbooks, if there's a dry erase marker and a whiteboard, we have makeshift whiteboards in those kits where we have sheet protectors and a white paper that goes in, and then you can write on the sheet protector and erase it. And there's also a dry erase marker in there as well. So everything that you will need to start out with virtual learning is being provided to you. For parents that have means to purchase a Chromebook, which one do you recommend? Which one does Plessy use? We have both Dell and HP computers. Most Chromebooks work the same, have the same general platform to them. So there's not a recommendation. It's just whatever works for you. You can go ahead and purchase it. Is a laptop necessary or will a tablet work? Yes. Any way a child can access Google Classroom, even if it's a smartphone, is fine. If you don't have a car to pick up your child's materials, you can walk over to pick them up at the school. A staff member will greet you outside and ask your name and check to make sure that you have all your registration materials in, and then give you your students' materials. If you are unable to come to the school, please also reach out to myself or Amy. And we have some staff members who have volunteered to deliver materials if you're absolutely unable to come up to the school. Do you know if Amazon Fire can access the Google platform? I can't find the answer to this definitively anywhere. I don't know the answer to that question. I would say, if you would like, I would say try it and see if it works. And then if it doesn't work and you need technology from the school, definitely reach out to Kristen. Oh, Camille says as long as it has internet, it should work. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. What happens if a student doesn't attend virtual school? Valerie, can you elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by that? What happens if a school doesn't attend virtual school? Just so I can make sure I'm answering the question properly.
I went ahead and unmuted you, Valerie. Go ahead.
Oh, you could talk.
Oh, I said, can you see what I wrote? Like if they don't come in, they don't show up, they don't turn in their assignments, maybe their family can't do it.
Yes, and so during our professional development with teachers, we were very intentional about making sure that teachers are noticing those and reaching out to make sure that we can connect with families, because we understand that everybody has different circumstances as far as what they are able to do or can do based on circumstances that we have no idea about sometimes. And so, in addition to teachers having office hours, social workers also have office hours, so that if there is a need or there is an extenuating circumstance, that we can then refer them to our social workers so that they can bridge whatever gap there is to make sure that students get what they need. However, if a student is not on live classes, they will not be considered truant because we want to be sensitive to that nature. However, students will still be held responsible for turning in those assignments. And if there's an extenuating circumstance, we'll definitely handle that on a case-by-case basis so we can make sure we're doing what's right for families. What are the specials for third grade? I don't see science and social studies on the schedule. So, science and social studies for third grade happens on Wednesdays. And so during a normal day, like on a Monday or a Tuesday, their core blocks, ELA and math, are 75 minutes. And then on Wednesday, it's abbreviated to 60 minutes so that they can focus on the math application. And also the teachers feel very passionately about writing and writing workshop. And so they will be doing that on Wednesday. As well, we have been able to purchase a new science curriculum. And so as much as we're able to incorporate that during our Wednesday virtual schedule, we will incorporate that as well on Wednesdays. And so they'll get science and social studies on Wednesdays for 3rd and 4th grade. For the lower grades, because we want to be sensitive to the screen time, teachers have the autonomy to weave that in to their lessons and or create projects that incorporate those disciplines while we're virtual. I think I answered all the questions in the chat. Let me see. Oh, the specials. Thank you, Laura. The specials remain the same. So there'll be visual arts, music, dance, theater, and strings. And if a student had strings last year, that was taken into account this year as well. And so you'll notice that they will be pulled out once we're back in school. They'll be pulled out with the same students all the time within their cohort for strings. And then while we're virtual, the strings teachers will reach out to make sure that they are having those classes as well. And if you need to check out a strings instrument, you can do that when you pick up your student materials as well. Oh, thank you. All right, let's see. Okay. Oh, thank you, Ms. Brooke. Ms. Brooks, says strings teachers will be reaching out this week to students who were in strings last year. All right. Any other questions? Oh, okay. So I just want to say once again, thank you so much for your flexibility. Thank you so much for your questions, and please keep them coming. If you have questions, send me an email. I normally try to respond like within 24 hours. I'm sitting on my bed late at night replying to emails, but please reach out to me, give me a call. And if you have any questions, I will say that this is uncharted territory for everyone. It's new for us, and it's like new for students. Our goal as educators, especially here at Plessy, is to try to keep that magic that we have in person going while it's virtual. We want students to still like love school. We want students to still be engaged, and teachers are excited and are beginning to prepare what we hope will be a good experience while we're virtual. And if there aren't any more questions, I won't keep you. And thank you again for your time. Have a good evening. And if you have any parents that will ask you about this, it will be uploaded and placed on our website so that parents who were unable to participate can view it later. All right. Have a great evening. Bye.